Tyler Kolek is your favorite white boy's favorite white boy.
Just a 2-second difference with Kolek. Comes in and said it, I'm golden. Told you I'm shining. Had to break through. Perfect timing.
So after researching Tyler Kolek for like 5 seconds, I could tell immediately that he is the exact type of player that the Miami Heat like to draft. Or really, not even draft. He's basically the guy that they're always getting in their undrafted territory where they're always finding all these gems. But the Ringer also sees how he is a Miami Heat player, as they have him coming to us at number 15 in their latest mocked draft. Now, the Ringer does have him a bit higher than a lot of the other outlets. For example, Yahoo Sports has him at number 22, Bleacher Report at number 30, and NBA Draft.net at number 26. But seriously, after going through a lot of this research, I do feel like he's a very decent player that could contribute for the Miami Heat right now. Now, Tyler Kolek is 23 years old, so he's obviously one of the more ready now prospects, not quite as much of a project, which you guys know is what I prefer because I'm trying to win a championship right now. And he does not have the biggest size, though. He measured in officially at the combine at 6'1" with a 6'3" wingspan, which is actually the exact same measurements as Rob Dillingham, a guy that we talked about a couple days ago. The only difference is Tyler Kolek weighs almost 200 pounds, so he has a nearly 40-pound advantage on Rob Dillingham, which is kind of crazy to think about. That's how skinny Dillingham is, which is why, as much as I like him, the size does concern me. But Tyler Kolek is obviously not the biggest guy either, but at least he's not super skinny. Now, I want to pull up his stats here, in which he played 1 year at George Mason before playing 3 years at Marquette. And, you know, the fact that he went to Marquette alone, that's almost enough of a reason for me to want to take him. Because obviously, the Miami Heat have quite a history with Marquette guys, specifically Dwayne Wade, Jimmy Butler. Shout out Jay Crowder, I suppose. But I do want to jump to Tyler's senior season at Marquette, in which he averaged 15 points a night and 7.7 assists, and did all of that while playing 33 minutes a night. So that's kind of what he is, right? He is a sort of pass-first facilitator, but also a guy that is a very reliable shooter. And if you look at his numbers here from the field, he shot almost 50% from the field, and where's his three-point numbers here? And 39% from three on 4 attempts. Now, if you look back to his previous season, he shot 40% from three on about 3 attempts. And the year before that, he wasn't great. He was at 28% on 4 attempts. But I'm not too worried about that because obviously we have a full 2-season sample size after that, in which he shot almost 40% on increasing volume. So he's a very good three-point shooter, and you can just look at the free throw numbers to concur that, because as a senior, he shot 85% from the free throw line, only 3 attempts, but obviously those are very good numbers there. And I should point out, as a senior as well, he did average almost 5 rebounds, So even though he's small, the 5 rebounds is something that I really like to see. So overall, pretty decent numbers, but it is those assists that's really the sort of eye-popping thing here. Now, I did find some interesting comparisons while looking across these different platforms during my research. And I think it was NBA Draft.net that said his comparisons are TJ McConnell and Peyton Pritchard. For one, I would like either one of those guys on the Heat, specifically TJ McConnell, very good defender. Not as great a three-point shooter, but we know he's elite in the mid-range. But I like to be careful when using these, comparisons as actual research, because a lot of times what these platforms do is they see a small white guy and compare him to a small white guy. And I kind of think that's what NBA Draft.net was doing here. Another thing that we see oftentimes is they compare a lefty to another lefty. That's why the Ringer's comparisons for Tyler Kolek was Jalen Brunson and Goran Dragic. 2 completely different players than TJ McConnell and Peyton Pritchard. And the reason the Ringer did that is because, well, Tyler Kolek is a lefty. And of course, so is Jalen Brunson and our guy Goran Dragic. So I don't want to take those comparisons with a grain of salt is what I'm trying to say. I just think they're being very basic there. But as far as a breakdown on who Tyler Kolek is, again, there's not much to say other than he is an elite passer, has a variety of passes, can drive and kick, can find guys on the perimeter, open shooters, that sort of thing. And then he's a very, very good three-point shooter. Again, mostly catch and shoots and that sort of thing. And he's not an elite athlete. And that's pretty much all I have written down for Tyler Kolek. I'm not going to lie to you. But he is the epitome of a stereotypical point guard. So that is something that I think the Miami Heat can use, because they haven't really had a facilitating point guard since when, really? I mean, do you count Kyle Lowry? I mean, he was a decent passer, but he also kind of sucked here. So I don't want to say that was him. Obviously, Goran Dragic, you didn't really look at him as a facilitator. Even if you're going back last year, Terry Rozier, he can pass, but he's more of a scorer. Same with Tyler Hero, who did show some improvements on the passing, facilitating end, but that's not really his game. I still think that he can desperately use an actual ball dominance facilitator to run an offense, because things get stagnant way too often. I think they can use a guy that can push pace, and that's also something that Tyler Kolek can do. So even if Tyler Kolek, he wouldn't start, at least as things are currently constructed. Again, we're talking about fit. All this can change depending on if the Heat trade Tyler Hero, Terry Rozier, Duncan Robinson, because that's pretty much where their big money's tied up, of course, outside of Jimmy and Bam. But let's just say the roster as is. Kolek is a guy that can start and spot minutes when guys get hurt. We know Terry Rozier has neck problems still. We know Tyler Hero has an injury history. I do think Kolek is a guy that could step in right away as a starter. And when not, he is a guy that I think could do a pretty elite job at running that bench unit. I think he'd fit very nice with Duncan Robinson and all the movement shooting that he does. I think he'd play very nice with Jaime Jaquez, finding him on pick and rolls and lobs, running in transition with him and that sort of thing. Whatever backup big you hope they get, maybe Kolek can spoon feed him. Maybe you have him playing next to DeLon Wright off the bench to kind of help, mitigate the defensive concerns that you'd obviously have with a 6'1" Tyler Kolek. The point is, he's a guy that can contribute right now. He went to Marquette. We like that. He could shoot, he could pass, and those are all things that the Miami Heat, I think, desperately need. So while he's not one of my favorite prospects, he is a guy that I could see them targeting, and I would not be mad if they took him at all, especially if the Miami Heat could sort of trade back, maybe acquire a pick or two, acquire a couple second-round picks that they could then use in a later trade, and then maybe draft Kolek somewhere in the mid to late 20s. I think that would be an absolute steal. But overall, solid. That's all I can say. Let me know what y'all thoughts are down in the comments below. Would you be happy if the Miami Heat took Tyler Kolek, or do you think it would be a little bit lackluster? Let me know what you think. I'll be reading everyone's comments. Make sure to like the video and subscribe, because I'm on my grind to hit 5K subs by the start of next season. I think later today, I'm going to come out with my official ranking of top 5 prospects, since we're only 3-4 days away from the draft. But I will continue to have a couple more videos out in the next couple days on some potential draft prospects. So make sure to stay around for that. But I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.
Look, pull up in your city trying to get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. This homegrown bitch don't offend me.